Hi! Welcome to this tutorial on creating a custom pattern for your Oasis table. With your Oasis table, you can create custom patterns with any vector graphic software. Today we're going to focus on freehand patterns. Freehand patterns are drawn by hand, or mouse in our case, as opposed to algorithmic patterns which are generated mathematically. Custom freehand patterns need to be in SVG, or Scalable Vector Graphics format, in order to be uploaded to your Oasis table. So what is a vector graphic anyway? Part 1. Vector graphics. Vector graphics are a form of computer graphic in which visual images are created mathematically so they can be scaled up or down without losing resolution. You may have heard of them in contrast to raster graphics, which are made up of pixels and lose resolution when scaling them up. To create a custom pattern for your Oasis table, you'll need to design an SVG file that contains a continuous hairline vector drawing, kind of like drawing on an Etch-a-Sketch. You can create your freehand SVG design using vector graphics software tools such as Adobe Illustrator, Affinity Designer, or Inkscape, which is free and open source. I'm going to use Inkscape for this demonstration since it's a free tool downloadable from inkscape.org, but you can use any other vector graphic software you're comfortable with. If you're downloading Inkscape to try this out, be sure to choose the correct version for your operating system and chip architecture if applicable when downloading the app. Once the vector graphics software is on your computer, we can get started with preparing a freehand pattern. Part 2. Preparing your freehand pattern. In a browser on your computer, navigate to app.grounded.so and log in using the same credentials used to log in to the mobile app. In the left-hand side toolbar, click the link to download the SVG template and it should open in a new tab. Right-click on the template to save. Name it whatever you think is appropriate and save it to a folder where you can easily find it again. I put it on my desktop because I'm a little messy. Open the template in Inkscape either by right-clicking and choosing Open with Inkscape, or open Inkscape and use the file picker to navigate to the template. Once the template is open in Inkscape, you can simply start to draw with the pen tool starting from the inner node appearing at the bottom of the template. But this time I'm going to import a reference image that I want to trace. I have a JPEG reference image on my desktop that I downloaded earlier, and I'm going to drag and drop it from my desktop into the Inkscape window. The image should import on a new layer, which you can see in the Layers and Objects panel on the right-hand side of the Inkscape window. In the Layers and Objects panel, drag the image layer under the template layer so you can continue to clearly see the template over the reference image. When the image is selected with the selection tool, transform arrows appear around the edges of the image and I can drag it around and resize to my liking. Clearly my JPEG is bleeding outside of the template boundary here, but that's okay because I'm only going to trace the rows within the template borders on a separate layer. Once the image is the size that I want, I'll go back to the Layers and Objects panel and hover my cursor over the image layer and click on this rectangle icon that brings up the Properties dialog. In the Properties dialog, I'm going to turn down the opacity of the layer so that the reference image is just barely visible. Then I'll click the lock to lock the layer so that it won't accidentally be selected while I'm drawing. From here, I like to select the template layer and ensure that I'm starting from the node that leads to the inside of the circle. Here I'm selecting it with the node tool to visually help myself see where the starting node is. Click on the pen tool or use the hotkey B to get ready to draw starting from the selected node. If you've never used a Bezier pen tool before, drawing with it may feel a little weird at first, but with some practice you'll get used to it. Click the starting node with the left mouse button to create the next node in your pattern. You'll automatically get a straight line with a single click, but clicking and dragging will let you create a curved line with node handles. After you click and drag, the pen tool will automatically create a curved line next, but it might not be curving the way you need it to. Pressing Shift-L on your keyboard will reset the line back to being straight. Using those basic steps, I'll trace the rest of this image. I got a little creative with the leaf there. When creating your final node, double-click to end the path, and there we have a traced vector path. Part 3. Now we're going to finish the pattern and prepare it for upload. Now that we have the vector drawing done, we need to clean it up a little to prepare it for upload to the app. We can go ahead and get rid of the reference layer by unlocking it in the Layers and Objects panel, selecting it, and hitting the trash icon to delete it. From here, you can use the Node tool, or N on your keyboard, to directly edit any nodes that look out of place. I also like to check that the pattern is properly connected to the template by giving the starting node a little wiggle, making sure to undo the move with a Command or Control Z. I think that this leaf looks a little off, so I'm going to use the node tool to move around some of these until they look how I want them to. You can use the node handles to adjust the curves of the lines as well. Once I'm satisfied with how the pattern looks, in the Layers and Objects panel, I'm going to drag the path object outside of the nested template layer and just get rid of the template layer so it's a clean single path. From here, I'll go to File, Save As, and I'll rename the file to whatever I want, ideally something descriptive, and choose the folder where I want to save. I'm choosing the desktop because I'm messy and it's easy to find. But then hit Save. Now we're ready to upload this bad boy to the app. Part 4. Uploading your SVG file to the cloud. In a browser on your computer, navigate back to app.grounded.so and log in with your app credentials. Click on My Patterns in the left-hand sidebar. Click the Add New button at the top of the My Patterns page. Type in a name you want for your pattern. If you want to share your pattern with the community pattern library, check the box that says Share the pattern with the community. Otherwise, uncheck this box to keep your pattern private. Under the SVG file heading, click Choose File to bring up the file picker, navigate to your pattern SVG, and click Open. If the pattern is uploaded properly, it should automatically be previewed in the result window on the right-hand side. Click the green Save button to upload the file. If you left the Share Pattern checkbox unchecked, it'll ask you if you want to share. I'm going to click No for now because this rose is just for me. The new pattern should now appear in your list, and now we're ready to upload it to the device itself. Part 5. Sending the pattern to the device. Now I've opened up the app on my mobile device, and I've gone ahead and started a spiral to make sure that the sand canvas is clean and ready for my new pattern. Scroll to the bottom of the queue and choose the Add Track button. Above the search bar in the pattern library, there's an option to see My Tracks, and my new pattern now appears. Tap the pattern to add the queue, and now it's time to sit back and let it draw.